Hello, everybody. You can call me Hunch. I'm going to be talking about stacks. I'm going to be talking about tap. I'm going to be talking about track, all the good things. But let's get into it right away. Not financial advice. If you're new here, I talk a lot about Bitcoin DeFi stacks. I made a thesis, I don't know, maybe a year and a half when this bull run really started to pick up about Bitcoin DeFi. Everything went nuts. Arcadico, Alex, Orange was one of them. Goes to Cash, Track, and we made a lot of money if you were here with me. But then I said, okay, well, with on Dome, this is the local top, right? 6 months to 2 years. It's been about, when we start recovering, almost to a T, 6 months to 8 months. I do think the bull run is resuming. I said that for a while now. I stopped making so many videos during this sideways chop, but we're still here. So anyway, I call things pretty well, so I would stick around if I were you. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so this is the stacks chart. I do think we're going to do something like this, okay? I drew this a while ago. We're going to have a breakout. We did. It came back and tested, and then I think it's going to resume. Now, if Bitcoin keeps going up, I think this is going to keep going up. I wouldn't be too concerned about, is it Bitcoin season? Is it altcoin season? I think you need to be positioned in your alts. Now, I think this is maybe the start of where there could be a blow off top or a more sustained bull run. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. When we had that mini bull run and Arcadico went nuts and Alex went nuts and Track went nuts, right? We had this like massive pump in all these alts, and then they came crashing back to earth. But the thing that you need to realize about some of those things, right? These previous lows, this is Alex, for example, right? If you go all the way down here, this previous low, whatever the case is, can we draw on this? Yes. So like this line here, I'm just drawing so you can see visually, right, is below the bottom of where I said, okay, we're going to go, sideways 6 months or whatever. So we did form a new high, right, or a new higher low for that sideways bull chop, right? So I think now is where you're going to start seeing, if you have conviction, over the next 6 months, some of these Bitcoin DeFi protocols under stacks go absolutely ape stuff. Now, a lot of people are like, well, what do you mean Bitcoin DeFi? Why is it not on L1? Right? I was one of the earliest to call Track, absolutely insanely early. I think I started calling it around like 20 cents. It went all the way up to $7, and then it came crashing back to earth. And then Tap came out. Tap came out with this huge valuation. Now, I like Tap. I do think there's a place for Tap, right? DMT, all that stuff. But what gives me the sense that this is not as valuable as, one, the valuation came out super high. And then second of all, this poly market seems to be one of the main products of ETH that is actually useful. People love, the election was famously called on this way before any mainstream media or pollsters. And I want you to take a look down in this corner. It's powered by UMA and Polygon. Polygon is an L2. And you insert your USDC in a wallet here or whatever, and you make bets. To me, this is proof of the fact that L2s are the way forward. Now, I have a lot of problems with ETH L2s, right? Mostly because it's not proof of work, the base layer, right? ETH is proof of stake. Second of all, I don't really understand the L2s under ETH. It doesn't seem to be so connected as Stacks is, right? Stacks pays you in Bitcoin, or you could liquid stake it. It uses all the security, so on and so forth. Now, maybe that's some of those things are true with ETH, but I don't think it's as connected. So what I'm trying to say is I don't think Tap is as important, right? All these L1 liquidity pools and DeFi, they call it. Is that important? Because they're going to need to use an L2 anyway, right? And the L2 they choose is ICP. I'll never understand that. I'm not sure why they didn't choose stacks. That doesn't mean I don't like Tap. I would actually rather have exposure to Tap, right, than I would Track, or maybe a little both. I'm not sure, but I'm not really thinking about that. I don't think those are going to have a massive bull run. Now, this chart looks a little bit bullish to me, but I digress. I think if you look at Arcadico, right, where we have this new higher low from these previous lower lows of this sideways chop that we were talking about, and Valar is probably the same, but there's less data. I think it's better to get back into those Bitcoin DeFi things, because I think real products can be built and powered by Stacks now that Nakamoto is out. And a lot of you are probably like, well, I see you on Twitter complaining about the blocks. Yesterday, I literally had a 90% failure rate with trying to make swaps. Today, it's not the same. Everything is going through. So I don't know if they're doing optimizations, but you know, you guys are all like kind of wimpy on there. Like, oh, we're closing the FUD, bro. I cause FUD to make progress. I have been here for so long. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. What I also want you to do is check out these Stacks tools, which is built on Leo, which is a great meme. I do think you should have some exposure to some memes. I agree that you should be under some Solana memes. You know, I like the higher cap ones just to have like a small portfolio, right? With smoking chicken fish, Bonk. I think Bonk will do really well. And then have, you know, some Stacks memes if you're into Stacks. We completed the bond curve on Sailor. You know, it's an interesting thing. You know, you can have exposure to Welsh. I personally like Leo. I think Leo is the best one to have the most exposure to. But again, those are small. I mean, these are memes. You know, I know everyone's like, oh, you know, there is some legitimacy to memes. Mostly Murad is saying that he's famous on Twitter. But you have to understand that he's creating a narrative and he's enriching himself, right? Like, he has a huge audience. We don't have the capacity to do that, right? We do have to buy into things that could get adoption or guess, right? Or use bots, right, to trade. All those things take effort and skill and the ability to learn. But I do think Stacks and Bitcoin are up for a massive breakout. What I would urge everyone to pay attention to, and you can see it up here, the total market cap is 3.13 trillion. I would, and I say this as a cautionary thing, I would be looking to get everything out of the market. Like, I don't think we're going to have any more like massive drawdowns like we did for these last 6 months, right? Like, where we're down like from 71 cents in Alex all the way to 9 cents, right? I don't think we're going to, maybe like a 10 to 20% drawdown during this bull run. But I think this is going to be like a more sustained blow off top, or maybe we do have a blow off top. And the next time you want to get out, I think you're out, right? Like, I think you're out, right? Now, that can change, right? Maybe there's a more sustainable run because of this administration is more friendly towards crypto, whatever. Maybe a strategic reserve comes out and Bitcoin goes to 500K, like, you know, some people are speculating. I don't know for sure. But this is the main indicator, I would say, to start getting out, right? And I'll tell you when I think is the best time to get out. It doesn't mean I'm getting out. It doesn't mean I am out. It doesn't mean anything. I am just saying I'm going to, that's what I'm going, my main indicator. Now, there's some other things like Pi Cycle Top, right? I mean, I am aware of all these things. I have been here a long time. So anyway, you could call me Hunch. I think now is the time, right? Now is the time to not be unconvicted. It's the time to be convicted. I don't know why people think I'm ever unconvicted. I've been in Stacks for like, I don't even know. I was like one of the first people here. Okay. So anyway, you could call me Hunch. Good luck, everybody. Godspeed.